Hello friends, welcome to our channel Creating Essence. I am Megan and I'm so glad you're here today. Today I'm filming my 12-week pregnancy update. I'm in my 13th week, which I'm 12 weeks and some days, but I just had my 12-week prenatal visit, so I wanted to share that as well as how things have been going and answer some questions that I got on Instagram from some of my followers. My appointment today went really well. We were able to find the baby's heartbeat, which is not surprising because I've been able to find it with my at-home Doppler for the last almost week. I've also suspected that my placenta is probably on the front of my uterus because when I'm looking for the baby's heartbeat, I can hear my own heartbeat super loud. You can totally tell the difference because my heartbeat is really slow and significantly different than the quick thump, 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 thump of a baby's heartbeat. My midwife found that was true as well today and confirmed, yes, that's my placenta, which is a great thing because with Solomon, my sixth baby, my placenta was on the front, but it was also covering my cervix quite a bit. So I had what's called placenta previa. That can be a really tricky thing. That is why we had a hospital birth with Solomon, because even though the placenta was able to move enough that it was safe to have a vaginal birth, it was not far enough away that I was completely risk-free from that issue. So I couldn't have a birth center or home birth. And I'm really grateful that it's up so high and on the front this time. So placenta previa is a complete non-issue for me, which is fantastic. I have lost another pound, so that is 5 total for the pregnancy, maybe 6. I've been asked a lot how I'm feeling, how the morning sickness is. It's gotten better. I was throwing up multiple times a day. Now it's just a couple times a week. I'm starting to get my energy back. I have to take it very slow because I just wear out very easily. And I'm still, even though the actual vomiting is significantly less, I am still incredibly nauseous and feel on the verge of vomiting 24/7. Thankfully, my aversion to water went away. So I'm able to sip water all throughout the day. I kind of find that like sipping water or eating something, like tiny bits of something, kind of help the muscles keep going down in my throat. Even though I'm nauseous and really gaggy, if the muscles are going down, I'm less likely to actually throw up. So I'm sipping a lot of water and I'm finding pretzels, just plain the pretzel sticks are really helpful because I can just nibble just a little and it's enough to just keep everything going down. As for my inner ear infection stuff, it is a lot better. It's not gone completely. It's been 2 full months now. It's been rough, but wonderful news. I drove halfway to my appointment today. That is the first time I drove a significant distance in 2 months. Last week I needed to buy chicken feed and Josh was working from home. So I tried driving the literal 2 minutes to the feed store to get chicken feed, and he rode with me to make sure everything was okay, and he ended up needing to drive home. And that was just last week. So the fact that I could drive to Josh's place of work today and then get in his car and he drove the rest of the way to the appointment, and then he drove back to his work and I picked up my van and came home and felt fine the whole time, that is amazing. Like, I drove for the first time in 2 months. That's awesome. You may have noticed I have this really beautiful patch of urticaria on my face. My skin gets really sensitive when I'm pregnant. I know that about myself. Usually I get sunburned really easily or just get random irritations really easily. I have switched nothing about my body care, shampoo, conditioner, laundry detergent, nothing. Nothing has changed. But I have this. Super cute, right? It's really itchy, but if I don't scratch it, it's way less itchy. So I just pretend it's not there. Every once in a while, I'll be like, oh, nope, don't do that. Because it is pretty bad up around my eye there. Going away, it actually was way less purple than this, but I took a shower before my appointment today and apparently the hot water made it turn purple. So it's not like scaly or anything. It almost looks like I have a port wine stain pouring down my face. We're doing that right now. My midwife looked at it and said, I'm absolutely spot on. It just looks like urticaria, like some inflammation, allergic reaction or something. It's not hives. And unless it's really bothersome or something else pops up, probably just have to let it run its course. So that's what we're doing. I had a blood draw for all the mandatory prenatal blood work, as well as the NIPT today, which is the non-invasive prenatal testing. Some places call that the Harmony 21, Maternity 21, stuff like that. It's basically for the geriatric pregnant women who are 35 or older. It is just a vial of blood taken from me. And because of how the placenta nourishes the baby through blood supply, some bits of the baby's DNA gets in my bloodstream, and they're able to separate what's mama's DNA and what's baby's DNA. We can find out just through a simple blood test if there are any risks for Down syndrome, trisomy 18. We also can find out the gender, all sorts of things like that. We should have those results by Friday. So that is very exciting to be able to find all that out. We've been asked over and over again if we're going to share the gender here, and we are. In the past, we've always hauled everybody to that magical 20-week ultrasound and made a day of it. Usually had like lunch or something, and we find out who this baby is that's growing in mama's belly, and it's a really fun event for the whole family. But since we're just doing a blood test this year, and that's kind of anticlimactic, we wanted to do just a fun little thing at home and do a gender reveal for the kids to make it some kind of fun event. And we are going to film it. Hopefully I can make a fun short little video out of it like I did for announcing the pregnancy to the kids for you guys, so you can see their sweet and genuine reactions to everything. Things that have still been a struggle, the nausea. The nausea's been rough. I have found myself struggling emotionally because our son Asher's birthday was last month on January 29th. And honestly, my head's just kind of been in a space where it's been convinced we're not going to get to keep this one. So my head has been super distant and unwilling to get attached, and I've found myself resisting getting any maternity clothes that I need or baby things that pop up, because my instinctive thought is like, why? It would be a waste. We're not keeping this one. So that has been really hard. I felt awful because I felt so like not emotionally attached to anything. That night when we got home, just on a whim, and it was quite early for my usual to be able to find the heartbeat. And right away, we found it, and we listened until the baby swam away, and it was just the sweetest thing, and that helped my heart so much. I got a whole bunch of questions on Instagram when I posted that I'd be filming this update, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to answer all of them. One person asks, can you still not stand coffee? Yep, no, even the smell of it is kind of insta-barf. How are you feeling? Better. So thankful. What do you think you're having? You know, I usually don't have much of an inclination, but I have had a feeling of girl from the start. I would be equally thrilled with another boy. 5 sons sounds awesome. But if we had another girl, we haven't had a girl in 10 years. That would be really cool. Are you having any cravings? No. I have aversions to almost everything. I look at things and I want to throw up. There's very little I can eat, very little that I look at that is not nauseating. I pretty much live on pretzels. A little bit of plain basmati rice, some cucumbers. That is it. Are you going to share name ideas? We are. We're waiting to find out what it is. If it's a girl, we're like 99% on the name. And because we've all, like Josh and I have both felt so strongly that it's a girl, honestly, that's kind of where our brains have been. So we haven't really thought much about a boy's name. Your kids want it to be one gender over the other. Well, the girls would love a sister, and the boys would love another brother. However, our oldest really wanted a sister when I was pregnant with Solomon. And when we found out at the ultrasound that it was another boy, she was honestly devastated. She cried so hard. And then when they came to see him at the hospital, she just held him and she looked at me like crying tears of joy and was like, Mama, I can't believe I wanted a sister because he is just perfect. So she has said over and over again that she would love a sister, but she also knows she would love another brother too. Is it too sensitive of a question to ask what you do to prevent possible problems in pregnancy? No, as far as the first trimester and the risk of miscarriage, there's very little that can be done, and it's so hard. Honestly, I try to manage my anxiety. I'm very careful to take methylated B vitamins, and I do my very best, even with sickness, to have a clean, balanced diet. That has been impossible this time. I do try. And in the second trimester, you know, I'm careful about lifting. I am very diligent to exercise and be strong, especially with squats, with proper form. I try to just stay strong and healthy. I try to stay mentally and emotionally strong because for me, that's a really big deal. And I do struggle with anxiety and depression, which I've talked about a lot in the past. And when I have the added bonus of extra hormones, that can be pretty rough. So I just take very good care of myself, off of refined sugars and anything that's like processed sodium. I mean, there are good clean foods that are naturally higher in sodium. That's okay. I just try to have a really pure diet. I try not to take any medications. Can you compare each of your pregnancies and describe them and show how they differed? My first was my first. I was lost. I had no idea. My second, he was huge. He was huge from the start. And physically, I ached a lot more. My third was significantly smaller, but I've talked about our struggles during her pregnancy. We thought we were going to lose her. We were told she had trisomy 18. I'll put her story linked in the info box below in case you haven't seen it. That was a very emotionally trying pregnancy, but an amazingly beautiful, easy, healing birth. Our fourth was a very difficult pregnancy. I had severe hyperemesis. I had to go on Zofran, which is a medication made for chemotherapy patients in order to keep food down. And he suffered issues from that. I had side effects from that. It was miserable. I don't wish it on anyone, but it kept us alive. So it's what we needed. And then we had a home birth with him, which was wonderful and perfectly safe. And despite those issues that we had, we still were medically low risk. So it was a good situation for us. My fifth pregnancy was with Asher. That was very much like Aaron's, very difficult from the start. And then we found out in the second trimester that he had died, and I had complications that required a surgical birth because they thought I had choriocarcinoma, which is basically cancer of like the placenta tissue. I didn't, praise the Lord, but we did have to deal with, you know, the physical trauma of a surgical birth and the emotional trauma of losing a child. Solomon's pregnancy was quite difficult. Physically, it was hard. I hadn't fully recovered from Asher's surgical birth. I didn't have hyperemesis, but I had severe morning sickness. And emotionally, it was crazy because my anxiety about constantly the fear of losing him was insane. And that is the last question. So thank you all for hanging out with me today. If you have any further questions, go ahead and put those in the comment section below. I would be happy to answer them. Keep on the lookout for the gender reveal video when we tell the kids what the baby is when we find out in just a couple of days. But I hope you all are having a wonderful February. Thank you so much for your love and prayers and thoughts for us. They have been felt and so appreciated. And I'm so grateful to be kind of on the upswing of the misery that the last 2 months has had for me. As always, my friends, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up, subscribe to hang out for more, and we'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.